If you watch the other videos that I just recently made on extinction, you may have heard me say supposedly when I was giving the example of what happens when an extinction procedure is used. And the reason I said supposedly is because, again, I think far too often we are taught that like this is the go-to procedure instead of being taught, oh my goodness, there are all of these things that you need to be assessing and addressing and analyzing because you're a behavior analyst before you use a coercive procedure. And if you're like, if the experience you've had with extinction is like, oh, it's not coercive, it's just like part of what we have to do. I'm not trying to criticize you. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I am encouraging you, please interrogate that a little bit more. Sidman talked about in coercion and its fallout in the 70s, in the 90s, the concerns he had around these types of procedures and how they're pretty much not behavior analytic in nature. Anyone off of the street can withhold an item from someone. Anyone can physically guide, even while someone's resisting, someone to do something to the point where they just go ahead and do the things because they realize there isn't a choice. These are the types of conversations we need to be having when we talk about extinction. Like every graduate course, every RBT training should be talking about all of these layers. Even the initial research that was done on extinction, there were concerns. Like if you haven't read Lerman et al. From the early 2000s, there's other studies too, but these concerns were voiced. Like, yeah, this works, and there's side effects and there's, issues that like we should probably find a better procedure. And like they didn't say it in those exact words, but I mean, come on. I just don't think like when we learn about it from like the textbook, when we read articles or whatever, that at least in I have a master's and a PhD, none of these discussions came up in our class. Yes, it was emphasized that you don't use it with self-injurious behavior and there needs to be a replacement. But other than that, it was just like this blanket procedure that's like what we do in our field. And there was no critical discussion or interrogating, questioning anything. It was just, this is what we do. And that's the part that, for the past almost 20 years, I have been encouraging people to just like dive in deeper, think more about it, not just with extinction, but just anything that we're taught, like as behavior analysts or anywhere else in your life. Be curious, be open to realizing that different people have different experiences. And for us to best know how to make the best use of our science, we need to be having these discussions.